So one of the next jobs is going to be the front nose cone. I've actually taken the front doors off just because we're going to be crimping around this corner here, and just giving that a bit of a paint on the underside. And now we can get this in position and just see how it all fits and everything, what sort of modifications we have to do to it, because there's always modifications. We'll go from there, so let's check it out. Okay guys, so the fitment is not too bad. What I need to do now is take it off, and we've got to drill our little holes here where we're going to plug weld, I should say, down to the bottom lip. We can put it back on again, check it one more time, then we can start doing a little bit of relief cutting. We've got a little bit of an issue here. You can have a look here, you can see there's quite a big gap there, and that just means that that panel, internal panel there, has been pushed in, probably from that accident. So we're going to have to come on the inside of that and push that out to make sure that it's going to marry up like this and be nice and happy all the way along, like so, there. And then we can buzz the top off, get this thing installed. So let's take it off and drill a whole lot of holes on this lip. Okay, so that's done. Got all those drilled out. And now what we want to do now is just make sure that this surface here hasn't got any paint on it. Otherwise we won't be able to weld down to it. So we might do some strategic little sections of removing paint and go from there. Let's have a go at it. Righto, so done that just to get that ready for welding. And now we can put it back on again and see how we go. Okay, so we need to, now that we've got this bottom plug welded down there, we can buzz the top. And I was going to take it down to about here, and then I figured, it's probably better that we've got newer metal than older metal, even though we're going to lose a little bit of patina. It's just going to be easier to run the grinder straight across that and then just start to stitch it as we go along. So I'm going to do a little bit at a time. I don't want to buzz the whole thing in one go, because then this will just start flapping. So we'll just buzz this section first, and then we'll start putting some strategic tacks. This is going to be a problem area. You can see how much gap I've got, and I can't get to the other side to push it. So this is going to be a little problematic area. We'll see how we go with that. Hopefully it doesn't go and start distorting it too much. Okay, let's buzz away. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just making sure that we got no overlap, and just short little tacks, and then I'll just keep reliefing it. I'm hoping this is actually going to pop out. We'll see what happens. If not, I'm just going to have to pry it with a screwdriver. Little problem here, you can see the swage line doesn't line up. Again, aftermarket companies, sometimes they're just not right, are they? So I've seen this problem before, same here. Doesn't line up too well with that line, so it's not a big deal. It just means you have to make a little incision here and then just blend this line so that it marries up with that one. It's a bit more stuffing around, but that's just what you got to do. I mean, that side's actually a bit worse than this side, but we'll push it in and see what happens. Anyway, we'll continue along on this side here. I just want to try and get this part done, but that's perfect there. Nice and flat, no buckling. All right, keep going. Okay, that's that side tacked, and we'll now continue on the other side. Okay, so that's all the tacking being done. We had to just, you know, give this little area here a bit of a fanned angle on both sides just to make sure the swage line will work. But apart from that, no warpage, which is good. We managed to fix that little area there that was all dinted in. It had that big dint in it, so that's all good. So now it's just going to be, I'll probably just flap this back, all these little tacks, and then we'll just go in and join the dots and get it finished. One more part done. Getting excited. So yeah, let's get that flapped back and go from there. So we've got all this stitched up, and it is now time to flap it all back again. So we're going to put a brand new 40 grit flap disc on and buzz it back. We'll see, we'll probably have a couple of little holes that we'll have to go back over and weld, but that's done. And I've pretty much finished flapping back the roof too. I'll show you that in a second. And yeah, let's go. Let's get it done. Okay, so we've taken off all the green paint and we've just put a little bit of filler along this seam here. Didn't really need it, but I thought, yeah, why not? We'll just put a tiny bit on. We'll sand that back. That'll get rid of any little tiny imperfections, and then we can put the red oxide on and then put the blue on, and then after that we can start the disheveling process. So that's one part. Sort of, I've got a little tool that I've got up at Oven Boy's place, and it crimps this. It's basically a pair of bolt cutters with 2 bits of flat metal, and you just basically stick it on there and go clamp, 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 and it'll crimp this all the way along, because I don't want to go whacking it with a hammer. So I'll pick that up in a couple of days. I can finish that off. Yeah, the roof's flapped off. I'll get ready to, I think there's only tiny little bits of welding to go. I've got this little part here I haven't put in yet. We've got the rear tailgate. Getting there. All right. So we've just put a little bit of filler, and I've just rubbed that back from 80 grit down to 320. And now what we're going to do is put a little bit of epoxy primer on this, and we want to try to replicate obviously that red background that we've got. You can see there that. So we're going to just go and spray that on first and then put the blue on top of that. Now we might just mask up the bottom of this part here, we'll see. Oh, maybe just go back over it again, give it a couple more layers. But yeah, that's going to be our little colour matching section. And then of course the next thing we've got to do is this rear tail lid, which I've got to get off, and then this is going to be quite the issue, because we've got, grab myself a torch here. So look at that, a wasp nest inside the rust. And then there's a whole lot of, right across there's a whole lot of rust as well. And then we've got a big split right here. You can see that. So we've got to repair those bits. So really, I just want to take the door off. It's going to be a lot easier. But I've been soaking these bolts in penetrine. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to put heat on them straight away. I'm not even going to try and get them out. Again, same as before. Let's put some heat up there and see what happens, eh? Alright, so we will leave these for a little bit. I don't know, I'm not liking the chances getting them out. Let's have a crack, see what happens. Just want to try to shock the rust off the threads and see if that'll help. We'll put a bit more penetrine on them. This one's got a lock on it. I don't think so. Let me think about this. I'll bring you back in a second. And the magic of editing on YouTube, we have the tailgate out. So I did actually have to drill them out. There was no way they were moving, so I've just basically drilled the heads off them. Some of them were actually missing, so it's no big deal. I just have to drill out the rest of the garbage and re-tap everything, and we'll be good to go. So what we're going to do, this guy is, yeah, this tailgate's going to need some loving, that's for sure. I'll go and start getting it prepared. But I figured I'm going to just jump off this for a second, because I don't want the nose cone to start getting rusty, because we've got bare metal on it. So I am going to quickly get a coat of the red oxide on the front of that, just to get it sealed up. Yeah, just go from there. So I'll just probably mask up the rest of the blue, because I don't want to get overspray all over that. So yeah, let's get that bit done. guys, so one of the next jobs we're going to do is just paint strip this green crap off. You can see I've done a little section there already. I've got my paint stripper, brush. Let's get it done. Brushy, brushy. Okay, so we've got this whole thing stripped down. I also stripped all the white paint that was on there. Got a tiny bit more to go, that's okay. And the idea now is we're just going to put some primer on this, just so that we can see, you know, if there's any crazy low and high spots. I think there will be around in here, because obviously blending all those panels together, you know, there'll be a few little highs and lows, and then we come around with a hammer, try and get them reasonably straight. You know, we might have to put a tiny bit of filler here and there, get that sort of ready to go. Then I can tackle the roof, do the same thing on that. There is a little bit of a dip just here, you can just see, just in that valley where the weld is. So that'll have to be fixed. That's right underneath the rib, so yeah, it's all good. Anyway, yeah, let's keep going. Righto, let's get some primer on this side. We're all cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's some of the primer done, and you can tell as soon as you put the primer on, it does show you up all the imperfections. You can see here we've got a bit of an issue there, we've got a bit of an issue here, we've got, you know, you can see the weld marks. So, you know, it's a good little eye opener-upperer, so you can go back over your work and fix stuff. So I did all that. I also went around this side and did the cargo doors. Just gave them a light blow over as well. Obviously you can see here we've still got a little bit of, you know, welding to do on little spots and stuff. I just like to do that because it gives you a visual guide of what's going on, and then you can go back over your work. You know, if we have to do filler, we do filler. You know, you can see here I have to do a little bit on that, but very, very, very small amounts, which is cool. Anyway, I think that's probably it for today's one. Coffee time for me. We will see you in the next episode, and stay funky, dudes. You.